Please, Dr. Bentley will join the class soon. We'll start very soon. But please, let's use this opportunity to invite our colleagues to join the class. We are 56 in number, but as I speak, I think we are about 20 something here. So please, kindly let's invite our colleagues to join the class, please.
Okay, so I think we can start now. So today we are looking at geography room, the geography room. Last week we discussed some of the materials or equipment or facilities that are needed in teaching of geography, where we discussed modern ones along the line with the ones that we already know. Now, one of the areas which is very keen that it is rare to find in Ghana has to do with the laboratory of the geographer, the lab of the geographer, what we call the geography room. The geography room. Now, I want to look at what it is, what it entails, how is it designed, so that if any geography teacher would want to design something of that nature, he will know how to go about it. So it is my hope that by the time we end this, we'll be able to appreciate what a geography room is, its relevance to teaching of geography, and also how all of us can see how best we can have some to make the learning of geography very interactive. Now, when we talk of a geography room, we are basically referring to a room that is specially designed for teaching and learning of geography in schools, colleges, and universities. So it is not just any room, but especially what design. Specially designed means that there are other things that are used in the study of geography that are seen in that room, like globes, maps. So if you look at the pictures, the picture behind the intro, you could see that we have some wall maps on the wall, others beside it, we have globes, we have other desks and chairs, some are two tables put together, and certain forms of arrangement within the area. So when you go through a geography, you could see that the features, the things you see there are distinct to geography. We can also say that it is an interactive or resource-rich space designed for teaching spatial awareness and earth science through the use of maps, globes, and student-built floor maps. So if you check, spatial awareness is still talking about geographical issues. Now, at times people try to misconstrue the geography room with a resource center, but there are two different things. In fact, when we are talking about a resource center deals with interdisciplinary needs of the school. So in that resource center, you will see a lot of subjects or disciplines having their resources within that resource center. Unlike a geography room, what you see there is solely for the teaching and learning of geography. So whilst a resource center caters for interdisciplinary needs of the school, a geography room is solely for the purposes of teaching of geography as a subject. Now, this is a typical example of how a geography room can look like. This is a modern one. So you see that in that room, there are a lot of maps, walls, and there's even a screen, interactive board screen, which has projected a map. Look at the number of globes there. Have you seen it? That every student at least will have a feel of a globe. and look at the dexes, and you see that there's at the left side of them where they have a number of globes. That one is a long table dex where they under it they arrange their books, and at the top they can do their demonstration and other things in there. And you see how the window, this is a modern one, the windows, and look at the lighting system within the area. You see that the teacher also have his desk, has his globe, and have other things on it. So that's the beauty of a geography room, which I think that Ghana, if you want to do something like this, we can do it. We have the men, we have the resources. The question is about prioritization or priority. It's about priority. Now, the question is, why are we even talking about geography room? Why are we so much concerned that geography room? We are concerned because, you see, some of the things that resources that we use in the study of geography are bulky and costly. And they need to be kept at a particular place where there will not be any distractions so far as movement and stuff are concerned. For example, if you have globes of this magnitude, wall maps, you cannot go and paste the wall map in the staff room. You cannot go and paste the wall map in library. You cannot go and paste the wall map because of the size nature, the sizable nature of those maps in the classroom, because the classroom is not only meant for geography students, other teachers also come there. So then we need a room that can keep these items. For example, the drone for GIS, computers, for others, other softwares that are needed for geographical analysis and remote sensing and GPS coordinate systems. These are things that you cannot keep in the classroom. You can also keep it at the headmaster's office because these things are quite expensive. So we need a place that we can keep these things in a safe, and we only go there to have a look at them, utilize them, then leave it there and go get back. That is why there's a need for us to have a geography room in every secondary school and even colleges who are doing geography, and universities as well. Now, geography room also helps us to collect models. Yeah, I said.
What do you say, sir? Yeah, what do you say?
Sorry.
Please, doctor. So, can you also term geography room as a geography lab, or?
Oh, that's what I even said at first. That's what I said at first. Yes.
Okay. Thank you, sir.
Yeah. But normally when you talk about the word lab, people's mind goes to the sciences and the chemicals and all those things that we have. And okay. And these collection of models could be works that students have done in like globes, map works that they have done themselves, charts, other physical models that they have done by themselves can be kept in the geography room because they cannot keep these things in their classroom. As I said, the classroom is just for an 2-hour instruction. Another teacher is coming through and through. They are going out, and the bookshop too is not the place. The library too. Yes, you can. People utilize the library. Anybody goes to the library. So some of these things you cannot keep them in the library. That is why there is a need for us to have a geography room to be able to make sure that all these things that are collected there are kept safe. Other than that, it becomes a bit problematic. See, it becomes a bit problematic. So there are a lot of spacemen and illustrations that are tend to accumulate, and it should be properly arranged and displayed in the geography room. Are you getting it? So if you check the video that we showed you, there are a lot of things that are in the geography room. For example, let me go back. So you see that you could see globes, you see textbooks, you see various maps and the screen print desks. Some of the areas you could see projectors, overhead projectors at certain portions and other. These are all collections of specimens and illustrations that are supposed to be kept in a proper way in a geography room to give you the taste and the beauty of all these things. There are a number of things that are all collected. Look, you could see that even some students have opened their atlas looking at certain features on their table, and all these things must be collected in a geography room to make it have a good. It is also a place where special equipment and tools are kept. You see, like we said, there are certain equipment that are so special to geography that you cannot keep it anywhere. And when these things, so like for example, tracing tables, globes, and all these things, tracing tables are used for student works. So all these things must be in a geography room so that when students are doing, let's say, modeling, illustrations, demonstrations, and all other things, they can utilize these things to make sure that they get the best out of what they are supposed to have. So that it really gives you the idea that geography room is a very important place, because in the geography room, apart from the tracing table, globes, or Sunstream, you can also have TV sets, overhead projectors, which all these things helps enrich the teaching and learning of geography in various schools and colleges. Now, we're also saying that a lesson period of about 40 to 80 minutes, or now we say 1 hour to, let's say, 2 hours, 60 to 120 minutes, may be too short for practical kinds of works, which may be spread over a considerable length of time. And here what we are trying to say is that that 40, 20, 60, 120 minutes at times is not sufficient for student practical works. So if they have a geography room, they will be able to go to the room, start these practical works. When the time is due for the next lesson, they just leave it there and go to their classrooms. Then the next time they have geography, they come and continue with those practical works. So because the time availability for some of the practical works are not enough, there is a need for some of these geography room so that they can spread over their practical works, their unfinished works, and whatever, and leave it there without any compromise or any distraction. Then subsequently, they can come to it.
Please, doctor, I have a question.
Yes, please.
Please, my question is, let's say we are in a secondary school or senior high school. Then in senior high school, we have almost all the levels have geography or offer geography. So level one enters, and in the course of their lesson, they had a practical, and they leave it there. Meanwhile, the other levels, that's the form 2s and 3s, will also have geography, which they might also have practical work. So do you think they are going to leave that work for them to come and meet?
See, there are some questions that when you ask, you yourself should even know the answer. You were a geography teacher in a secondary school.
No, sir. I don't teach geography.
No, I am just using it as an example of your scenario that you are giving. I'm not saying you are teaching geography in the secondary school. I
Okay.
getting it. Uh-huh.
Yes, sir.
So you said that you are a geography teacher, then in a
Yes.
secondary school. Then you teach only form ones, you don't teach form twos.
Yes.
And the form twos also have a different geography teacher. Is that not so?
Yes. Yes.
Uh-huh. And the geography room you have is one. In the geography room, there
Yeah.
are various compartments. When one group goes in and they do a work they don't finish, there are various compartments in the geography room that, and even the tracing table is not only one. So they can keep theirs on one side of the tracing table. Then the other group can use the other side. If not, you can let them house it in a storeroom, which is part of a geography room.
Okay.
Or what you can do is that if you are all teachers in the area, you should be able to collaborate with a Form 2 geography teacher to make sure that if the room is not enough to keep two groups having practicals within a day, then you, the two teachers, should come together and make sure that if today this one group does it, then the following day, another groups comes to do their what? Practicals. So there should be
Okay.
collaboration between the two of you as teachers, and beside there are various compartments in the geography room that can store some of these unfinished product. If other groups are coming in and with them being left there, they may tamper with the practicals or the colleagues' works.
Okay. Okay.
Uh-huh. Okay. Then we are saying that just as one of you said, geography room serves as a laboratory which provides an atmosphere for working and learning. Just like we have chemistry lab, biology lab, when you go, you dress appropriately. And when you go, the chemicals and the things that you see are reflective of the subject you are doing. The same thing, the geography will also serve as the laboratory, which give us the atmosphere for working and learning, because the atmosphere in the sense that the things are arranged in a way which provides all the tools and the logistics and the materials that you need to do the geography work over there. It also enables the teacher and student to produce teaching learning resources such as models, for example, charts, maps, physical models, which can be showcased on special occasions in our schools like open days or speech and prize giving days and all those things. Because these things cannot be done in the classroom or library or whatever resource center. So these are some of the reasons why we need a geography room to keep some of these things in check. Any question on the reasons? Okay, then let's make progress. Now, we want to look at prerequisites for designing or planning of a geography room. If you want to design a geography room or build a geography room for your school, these are some of the things that you must bear in mind. So, those of you who are connected to your MPs, encourage them to build some of these things. So in designing a geography room, there are 4 areas or requirements that you must bear in mind anytime you are designing or planning a geography room to be built. The first one is that you must bear in mind that there should be adequate seating space. There should be adequate seating space. What we are saying is that in developing a geography room, the room should be large enough to accommodate about 30 students in the room. That means that the area or the size of the room should be about 15 meters by 10 meters in size or area. To be able to house 30 students. The reason is that if the students are many in the geography room, some of these things may not be effective. But we all know that it's quite unfortunate that in the current system that we find ourselves, you go to a certain school and even the students are 70, 80 in a classroom. It makes some of these learner-centered practical things very stressful because at a point they need to monitor student progress work. And these things can also create a stressful situation. So ideal situation, a geography room should be able to accommodate about 30 students. And the size or the area should be about 15 by 30 meters in terms of the size of the area. There should also be tables and chairs in the geography room for students, with each of them having ideally the tabletop of about 100 centimeters by 80 centimeters. You see. Then also, in order to avoid noise making by students, chairs and tables, by students in the geography room, the chairs and the tables can be fitted with a rubber feet. When you go to some of the secondary schools and even the basic schools, you see that those metal chairs that they give you, you see some black rubber that are fitted under the feet. Have you observed that thing before? Some of the metal chairs they give you could see that they are black rubber. That is what we mean by that. So that in dragging, it wouldn't make that unnecessary noise as it is not there. And where the school do not have enough fans, the school can consider using short stools as the chairs. So it can use maybe that, but when you are using the short stools, you have to make sure that the top is a bit foamy so that it will not create unnecessary or discomfort when students are sitting on it. So where there are lack of fans, you can consider using short stools for the same sitting, that chairs that students can sit on. Now, tables which can seat a number of students at a time are preferred. So that at least when the tables are a bit size up, so you could, if you check the picture, some of them they combine 2 tables. for students to sit on, so that you see, when they have a large surfaces, they can do group work, they can do project work on those tables. But if the sizes are not so, it cannot contain a number of students around the table, it becomes a problem. That's why we are saying that the tables should be such that a number of students can sit around it, and various group work or surface work can be done or displayed on the tables. So if you check the video I showed you, for them, they combined 2 tables, and they have the chairs around it where students can sit and do their display and their work as well. Now, apart from the adequate sitting space, there should also be adequate working space. Adequate working space. And here we are saying that the geography room should have a teacher's demonstration bench at the front of the room. So if you look at the picture, you see that there was a desk which was in front of the, where we have the wall maps. That's the teacher's desk. But so that he can use it for his demonstrations and those things. But in some of them, we can make it a bit sizable. And because the teacher is going to, the desk is what is going to use to do the demonstration, we are saying that that demonstration bench or table should be lifted a bit higher than the ones that students will use. That's why I said the teacher should be on a raised platform because of the demonstration. Because if it is the same height or level with that of the student tables, when the teacher is doing the demonstration, those at the back will not see the demonstration or what is going on. But when it is lifted a bit higher than that of the students, those at the back could see the demonstration activity of the teacher. There should also be working space elsewhere in the room. So working space in the room must be provided for other activities apart from the class routine. So, like I said, so apart from the room itself, there are various, about 3 or 4 different rooms too as well in the geography room, which we'll be talking about them, which they are used for other activities in the geography room. So it's not just putting one room block together and you put things in and you say geography room. No, there are certain things that must go in there. When you get the material, there's a diagram of that nature that gives you an more or less like an outline of the geography room. Okay. Apart from that, more than 3 meters of space should be allowed between the front row of tables and the wall behind the teacher, which is very, very important. Which is very, very important. You see, the reason why there should be 3 meters of space, so that anything that is projected on the table, those in the front line can see well. And also those in the front table, the teacher can also stand there or use that place as a traffic area to pass through, to move to other side of the class. That is why even in our normal classrooms, student seating do not start right from the front of the board, but we leave a space between the board and that of where the first row will be sitting. so that they can have a clear vision on the board. And also there could be some traffic area where students can also pass and teachers can also pass to get out of the class, or also to come to the board to do some form of demonstration there. A lectern should be placed on the right corner of the demonstration platform near the front row of student tables, so that the teacher can keep his or her instructional material that are needed for that particular lesson in the geography room. And the lectern, you see, when you go to churches or program, what do people call podium? That's what we refer to as lectern. Lectern is not pulpit. At times, some of you confuse pulpit for lectern. No, they are two different things. Pulpit is stationary. You cannot move it. It's immovable. But lectern is movable. You can move it elsewhere. So when you go to some of the churches, you could see that some of them, their pulpit is at the center front of the church, especially when you go to the Orthodox, the Protestants. So some of the Orthodox, they have lectern and they have pulpit at the same time. The pulpit is where the Osofo will stand in to preach to the congregation. Then the lectern is where the liturgist will normally do the liturgical activity on. Pardon me, because I'm Methodist, that's why I'm using those terms. Like order of service, what we call order of service, or the MC. No, when we say altar, altar is not pulpit. You see, altar is a different. In fact, even the chancel itself, where the Osofo people sit rounded, can be an altar. Can be an altar. Okay, let's move on. We are not doing the Christian religious studies here. Then also, a geography room should also be equipped with a white or chalkboard. And this device could be used for drawing maps, diagrams, which he or she or the teacher may like to preserve for the next lesson. So in a geography room, there should be a whiteboard, a chalkboard in a geography room for some of these activities. Also, the spaces on the other side of the three walls. So when we say the other side of the three walls, we are talking about now the first wall, which is the one in front of the class, where the wall maps and those things, that's one side, which has been occupied with board and other things. Now we are talking about the three other remaining walls that makes the complete four square. So the three other walls could be partly faced with soft, so that pins could be used on them, or for the permanent or temporary display of maps, diagrams, charts, air photos, among others. So what we are trying to say is that other side of the walls, we can have these soft fittings, just like you see, when you go to some schools, they have what called notice board. Those notice board, there with some foamy and some cloth, that's what called soft. Faced with what? Soft, so that you can use pins to pin things on the notice board. So that's what we are trying to say. So other side of the walls can be used for that purpose, so that other maps, charts, diagrams, and things can be hanged over there. Because if you leave it as the dry wall like that and you paste, the pins will not fit it. And also when you use maybe glue or solid tape, you also destroy the wall. So you better have that face, that soft, more or less like the notice board structure along the walls, and you can paste some of these things over there. Then the adjoining space bordering the chalkboard on the front wall could also be reserved for maps and diagrams that are needed during the exercises or the lesson. Then a sound tray placed on the long bench could be used to display a model of the topography of the physical features of the local area or the school campus. So the sound tray is just a tool or equipment that are used by learners whenever they are making a model. So these things must be in the geography room so that it can help in model making and other practical activities as well. Then we also have the third thing you must bear in mind, that you must have adequate storage space. So first, you must have adequate sitting space, adequate working space, and also adequate storage space as the third one. Now here we are saying that under the part of the long bench or the table, it could be converted into cupboards and map chests so that you can keep your textbooks and your mark chests and those things under it. Other materials could also be kept in the cupboard, which include the globes, spacemen, models, and other teaching learning resources. In fact, let's use the other this one. No, not this. You see that at the left side where you have a lot of globes standing. Okay, let me wait a minute. Let me come and point something. So you see where the globes are. Hello.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Do you see the red pointer? You see that there's a cupboard right from the other corner, the front page, the front board. You see that it starts from here to the corner and continues from the other side of the wall, under the window side. This is what we are saying, that it can be converted into cupboard. So you could see that they have arranged some of their textbooks and other things in there, down there. Have you seen it?
Yes, Doc. At the left side.
Yes, at the left side. So that's what we are talking about, so that you can keep some of your models or your books, textbooks, your spacemen, and even you see that the globes, the ones that they are not using, are even kept on the top of the cardboard. So this is what we are saying, that you can convert the down of the bench, the top, the down, into a cardboard so that you can keep some of these things there. Okay. Okay. So we are saying that glass fronted cupboards. Glass fronted cupboards could preferably be placed near the back wall of the classroom and can be used to house the Geography Reference Library and the Modest Museum of Spacemen. When we say glass fronted cupboard, we are talking about, you see, when you go to some Plastic tape will do all this. And remove that because I want to know. You know, because and I say, now. Okay, so you see that in those cupboard where the top of it, normally they divide it into two. The top of it, they have glass. So when the books are even arranged, you can see the books. Then the down one, they have drawers or more or less like a wardrobe that you can also, this is what we talk about, the glass fronted cupboards. So that some of the things can be kept, the library reference and those things. So mostly when you go to some of the offices, maybe the headmistress in the universities, when you go to most of the lecturers' offices, they have such cupboards over there where the top of it is glass. Then the down, wooden drawers, which they keep these things on in them. Also, the geography room should have a storeroom or a preparatory room annexed to it. And this, as I said, are to be used to keep other materials and other things in there that if you keep it within the main area where students sit and if they could tamper with it, you can keep those things in the other room. Also, the rest section or the back of the geography room, you see, should be divided into 3 rooms. The back of the geography room can be divided into 3 rooms. One will be a storeroom, one will be a dark room, and another room will be a workbench room. So a dark room and a workbench room. Then the last, which is the 3rd room, will be the office for the geography teacher. So 3 rooms issue: the storeroom, the dark room or workbench room, and the last one is the office for the geography teacher. One will ask, why should we have these rooms? A storeroom is a very important room for the geography teacher because, as you said, some of the things like we are talking about, the materials are bulky and they are costly, to the extent that if geography students are in the room and you do not take good care of it, they can even tamper with it and destroy it. So certain materials that you need, they are expensive, they are bulky. You don't even leave it like that in the geography room. You can store it, you can keep it in the storeroom. Even the storeroom can also be used, if it is spacious, to make models that have rough edges, which when is left in the space of where students can maybe cause students to hurt. So all these things are things that are needed to be created in the geography room. We should also have things like a sink. Sink must be fitted, and the teacher should also be able to provide a blackout for the windows. So the storeroom can become the dark room where the teacher makes his or her own slides and film strip. And the one I talked about, the dark room and the bench room, they can also be used for model making and even for presentation as well. Because normally when you are doing a projection, you need a room that is a bit dark to get a clear picture of projection. Normally when you are doing a PowerPoint projection or videos and it is in open area, it affects the quality of the visuals. So the teacher's office, which is another room, is where he is going to keep his reference books, resources for his lesson. In addition, he can also use his office to keep more costly equipment such as projectors and televisions. And take note, the storeroom and that of the teacher's office must be furnished with filing cabinet, wall maps, cupboards, map chest, card index cabinet, which they can have these things in their offices, and things that they believe that they're expensive, that if it's left in the general room, students can tamper with it. All these things can be kept in there. The teacher's room can also have some whiteboard in there. The teacher's office can also have some whiteboard with about, let's say, 2.5 meters by 1.5 meters size in terms of the size. And the essence of this whiteboard in the teacher's office is for the purposes of tutorials or remedial activity for learners who could not get the concept that was being discussed. So you could see that it is not just the room itself, but there are a number of things that goes on in the geography room. When you get the material there, all these things have a detailed information with examples. All of them are in the book, which will give you more examples and expose on that. Okay. So so I think we have said this thing. The teacher's office and the store should also be furnished with filing cabinet, wall maps, cupboard, map chest, card index cabinet, a general cupboard with shelves for storing drawings. The teacher's office should also be fitted with small whiteboard, which I've said all these things. So let's make progress. The last aspect of the room that you must also bear in mind is what we call the electrical arrangement and installation in the geography room, which is very, very important. Every geography room should have an electric switchboard. And these electric switchboards should be fixed within areas that the teacher can get easily access to it, in order to enable the teacher to control the light in all parts of the geography room. In all parts of the geography room. That means that in the geography room, there should be a number of electrical switchboard which the teacher can easily use to control the various lighting system. Also, there should be a rheostat fixed within the reach of the teacher, and the essence of this rheostat is to enable the teacher to control the light intensity in the room. So the teacher can use the rheostat to dim the light to their desirable intensity whenever he or she wishes, and depending on the kind of craft that he's doing. Also, there should be a several switch within the geography room in different parts of the room, in order for other projectors to be conveniently used from the several angles of the room, and also to be able to plug other electrical gadgets that we want to use in any part of the geography room. These things are very important. We are saying that the main chalk or whiteboard and the lectern should have adequate lighting, specially focused on them without the lighting escaping to the other part of the geography room. Yeah, these things are also very important because in the geography room, the room is designed in such a way that it doesn't give it makes like the room a bit dark. So just like if you have gone to some of these Orthodox, like Methodists, for example, when you go to our churches, where we have normally, at first, we used to have eagle lectern. A lectern that looks like eagle. Those of you have been to a Methodist, and you could see that on that lectern, there's a bulb, a light, a bulb that projects the light on the lectern. So that if you are reading the Bible, whatever, because of the nature of the room, you can see clearly. This is what we are talking about here. That the lectern where the teacher will also put his things and stand on, and the whiteboard should have some light reflecting on them, so that it will help visible or vision is very clear in the geography room. And these are very, very important things that are needed in a geography room. There should also be adequate attention that are given to the lighting arrangement in the geography room in order to make the best use of the variety of equipment used in the room. We also need adequate illumination for very good practical activities to be done in a geography room. So these are some of the prerequisites or requirements for anyone who wants to develop a geography room must conform to these 4 major areas or requirements. Any question up to this point? Any contribution or any question? Is it? Yes, please. Samuel Edusai Poku. Yeah. Mr. Edusai, you can go ahead before we come to Stephen Edu. Or if Stephen should take over to her. Okay, Stephen,
Well,
let's hear you.
Doc, uh, Doc, my issue has to do with you realize that geography entails a lot because it's like we all know that like the mother of all sciences, and therefore, so why is it that our senior high school geography is being taught over there, but it is learned as if being an elective subject? I think it's better it becomes a core so that you understand the concept of how it works, pertaining even the earth, for instance. Through geography, you know how we have to protect the earth and the climate change, which is affecting us nowadays. So I believe that the geography, as we think as a core, as an elective, should rather be a core. So when you are planning for the curriculum, if you can make that suggestion and see whether it will work, please.
You see, when you go to the our colonial master, the Britain and those things, in their secondary schools, and they don't do geography. Their geography is in the social studies. That's the social, they call it social studies. K-12 and all those kind of things. And in their social studies is all about geography. That's what they learn there. Because they believe that social studies is about the society, the environment, everything. So we also drawing that analogy and we brought that concept where the social studies. But unfortunately, we made our mind to go to social studies about the society and environment, society stuff, and we make the social studies as a core subject. I perfectly agree. Geography should be a core subject at the secondary school. In fact, even now, there are some science students who are doing geography. There are some virtual art students who are doing geography because with the new standard base, learners are given opportunity to do any other course they want to do as part of their program. And you see, if you have also checked the social studies curriculum that they are using in senior high school, last I told you, if you check the content, it's about 80% geography. So even that one, if you do not have the geographical knowledge and experience, you can't even teach it. But like you are saying, if I had my own way, geography would be a core subject. Because if you understand geography, you can virtually understand everything of life. Those of you who have had a chance to look at the standard-based social studies topics, you could attest to this fact I'm talking to you.
Yes, Doc. But Doc, too, so the new SHS social studies curriculum, does it also have some geography questions? Sorry, geographic topics. Because I remember when we were in SHS, our social studies wasn't having any geographical topics when we were in the secondary school.
That's what I just said. I said that currently, the social studies standard-based curriculum, the topics in there is about 80% geography topics. 80% of the topics are geography. For example, when they started their first week, the topic they were supposed to treat was the last time someone even mentioned it here. Is it geographical features of something in Africa, which is social studies?
Yes, I remember, please.
You maybe I'll share the social. I'll look for the social studies curriculum and share with you, and share the geography curriculum too with you, and you will see that the topics are virtually the same. See, so now though they are saying social studies, but the content is about geography. Okay, Mr. Odro.
Doc, please, my question is with regards to what we just discussed. If a geography class is lacking any of these things, can we say the class is incomplete, or the geography class is lacking? I don't know how to put it, but does it disqualify it from being a geography class?
No, there's
Thank
one
you.
thing of having a geography class and another thing of having a geography room as a lab.
Oh, okay,
Though we may
Doc.
not, yes. So there's a class called general arts class where people are doing geography. That one is there. Are you getting it?
Okay, yeah,
Then,
Doc.
then we also have uh, a geography room as a lab, just like the science. Then we have the chemistry lab and all those things.
Yes, Doc.
The fact that they don't have all the complete lab, or they don't have the lab, does not mean that there's no science class. There is, but if we have to be very beneficial than we don't have.
Okay, Doc.
And we can do it too. Look, if Kwame Nkrumah was able to build resource centers for secondary schools, science resource centers, and they were even given buses, can't we do it as a nation? It's about priority. It looks as a country, our priority is not in education of our kids. We make math mantra, and rather push the money to where we can get votes. So,
Maybe so now.
when China and Co were investing in their people, sending them to US under stressful conditions, they were sending them, paying huge sums of money for them to steady, and come and build. Our politicians will prefer giving money to their concubines, buying cars for their handbags, not even their wives. Then they come on air. They always want us to be impoverished, so that we'll always be at their beck and call and be pleading, honorable, honorable, honorable. Then they will come and say, come and see every Saturday morning. By the time I wake up, they have lined up in my house, coming for cocoa, coming for money. And these politicians knows that in order to avoid that, give them employable job, something they can do on their own so that they doesn't become a burden on you. They will never, because if they do that and you become self-reliant, when you call, you say, I'm going to work, I'm going to work. So they will not even pay attention to you at all. they want you to be indebted to them, so they will continue improvise you, so that you can always come honorable, but to me bad you as honorable. Me to me bed in one band in met with ya. Me ware one band met with ya. Now way yet it's no man made me acquainting. Anyway,
Yeah, Doc.
yes, please.
But my question was we've now got to know that we have 4 key areas under the prerequisite for is it resource room or geography room? Geography room.
Yes,
Yeah.
please.
So how many points are you supposed to develop under each of the 4 main areas or prerequisites when it's happening in an exams?
Nothing is going to happen in the exam, so I don't know what to say.
Like if you are to write about the prerequisite of geography room under the 4 key points.
Who has asked? Who have asked you to write on prerequisite?
No. I'm just giving a scenario.
So the scenario you have given, just also use the scenario to answer what you are going to do, because I have not given any question like that, so I don't know how you have to explain it.
Okay. Thank you, sir.
But
Then
in any,
also, I was also confused about the 2 topics or the 2 sub courses that you are teaching. The method and the teaching of geography. I was confused about it, but now I think I'm clear.
okay, thank you. One is methods, and one is, see, so the methods though may talk about concept of teaching and learning, the principles of teaching, and then we zoom more into methods. This one is teaching geography, particularly in the senior high school. So we started looking at senior high school geography, the aims, visions, and those things, which in methods you not look at that. What will make us go into the senior high school geography in method is the learner planner. You see, which is an aspect where you are going to use a method in there. Okay, so thank you very much. Okay, I think that in absence, we can switch on to look at another thing, which is also very important when it comes to geography. So if there are no further questions, let's switch to that area as well.
Doc has left too.
I'm with you. I'm not gone. I'm with you. I'm just sharing a different slide.
Okay.
Yeah, if you remember, even last I was telling the course rep that with the new curriculum that I have developed, that we have started teaching the first years, this course we have taken it out of that new curriculum, because like you said, at a point, not the one who was handling it, the content of it was virtually replicating some issues in the method of teaching. So when we were taken to Pampamisi Hotel, the one adjacent Ridge Royal Hotel, to develop a new curriculum to align with the standard base, I was the only one who developed for the geography, because all the people who came, they were all, our team were about 5. The four were all economics related, economics education. Currently, as I'm talking to you, I'm moving through with the MEd geography education, MPhil geography education. But we are yet to discuss it with the HOD and forward it through, go through process for accreditation. So let's pray that by close of the year or so, MEd geography education and MPhil geography education will come on stream so that you can also take advantage of them. So that's why, if you remember, I was saying that I was not too sure whether code is using the new curriculum or they are still using the old one. So when they brought these courses that they still want you to do, I said, okay, fine. But in the new standard base now, some of these things have taken, and now we have new courses like climate change education as a course. We have developed course like that, a course like geography education and sustainable development, environmental education, which are all new areas that UNESCO and some international partners are trying to use to help salvage the international environmental issues we are being confronted with and climate-related issues. Okay. Now we also have a course like technologies for teaching geography, where we focus on only technologies that are used in teaching geography, like Google Earth, a number of those things with videos and those things as well. And that's why at last I was telling them that it's about time some of these things, we even look at the course. So I was telling them that it's about time they even let you do remote sensing as a course. You see, very, very important, because this age and era, remote sensing is a very critical, though it's a very technical, and most of them leave some practical things that you must be face to face. But the theory aspects can be taught. Then once you go for face to face, you can have the practical section aspect. Anyway, we are also looking at another important area in geography called fieldwork. There's a question at Tamwa. So what? Let me see. So when you study MPhil in geography and regional planning, can't you teach in colleges of education? Because it seems majority studied MPhil geography education. Oh, no. You see, with this, your first degree, you can do MPhil geography and you can teach at the college. You can do MPhil geography and regional planning and you can teach at the college. You can do MPhil geography and resource development from Legon and you can teach at the college. You can do MPhil geography and rural planning or development in Kenya University and you can teach at the college. So irrespective, the most important is MPhil geography with something you can teach. With MPhil geography education, you can also teach at the college. So at Amon, irrespective of them, you can teach at the college. Why? Yeah,
Yes, doctor. Please, the last time I checked, the UCC didn't allow people to do the MPhil on distance.
Yes, we don't do MPhil on distance. We don't do MPhil on distance.
They gave admission to people to do MPhil, and later they came that they can only do ME on distance. They didn't allow them, so they told them to go and change their course. They gave the opportunity to change it from MPhil to ME. If not,
no, you see, MPhil programs are not distance programs. They are regular programs, which is supported by government. I get it. We don't run MPhil as a distance program. They are regular programs. But what some of the departments, like our department, have done is that, you see, most of the MPhil and MEd, they are virtually the same coursework. They are the same coursework. The difference is the thesis that you do. Some of the MEd are taught course, without even research. But it's the same course, top courses you'll be doing when you are doing MPhil. So what some of the departments have done is that they will start with you with MEd for 1 year at a distance. For that one, they do distance. Then when you finish, they will let you do what you call top up. Then you get the MPhil. The top up is where you do the thesis. Then you get the MPhil. So that's what some departments are doing in the university. But in the university's mandate, MPhil is a regular program. It's not a distance program. So I know some of the students who did MS Social Studies, MS Educational Studies, and those people who have been given opportunity to do a top up for MPhil Social Studies, not at a regular, but the same distance medium at Papa Field in Accra Center.
Okay.
If you are talking about geography department, you see, geography department is different from the education department, like my department. You see, the geography department, they do not have this distance or they don't do distance programs. They do sandwich and that of regular alone. So they don't have MPhil geography as distance. No. So that one, even MA, you have to come to campus. Because I did MA geography and regional planning after my MPhil in curriculum and teaching in geography. I went to do MA in geography and regional planning, geography department. And I did it as a regular. But they have sandwich for you. So if you want to do MPhil geography, and with the same thing, when you go to Legon and all these places, you will not get its distance. They don't. That's the university's status. You can't, they don't. But in our department or faculty, what we do is that we make you start with the MEd 1 year. Then when you finish, you do a top up, then you get the MPhil. The top up is basically the thesis. That's the strategy we are using in our department for those who are reading MS Social Studies, MPhil Social Studies, because you cannot do straight away that you are doing MPhil Social Studies education or geography education as distance. It doesn't happen anywhere in Ghana.
Okay. Thank you, Doctor, for the clarification.
Yeah. So please, when you want to buy forms, at times it's better you do background checks, thorough search, get information so that you don't misfire. Then tomorrow becomes a problem, because these days some of you getting permissions for further studies is a problem. Okay, a minute. Okay, so we are looking at field work, which is one of the techniques which is at the heart and core of geography. Now, when we talk of field work, we know said as a geographer, one of the environment is our laboratory. So if the environment is our laboratory, then obviously it's through field work that you may be exposed to the environment. Now, according to Agile, Patterson, and Stevens, field work involves acquiring information through any techniques of data collection that you can use. And these data collections can be qualitative, quantitative, or even a mixed one. Or it could be experimental. To obtain information to do a further analysis. And Al-Hassan Ita also is of the view that fieldwork is a structured experience of students studying outside the room. Which room are we talking about? Outside the classroom. With objects such as buildings, geological sites, museums, or places that are students studied. So, in fieldwork, students are exposed to outside the classroom. They move to the environment, the field. That's why I say field what? Work. We can also say that it is a scientific, technical, or social investigation which is conducted outside classrooms or laboratories and is undertaken by individuals or groups who visit specific places or locations. Now, fieldwork varies in terms of the location, duration, and the phenomenon that you study. Hence, we want to look at some of these fieldwork activities and appreciate what goes into it. There are two main approaches to fieldwork. We have the field teaching or structured fieldwork, and we have the unstructured fieldwork. Now, when we say structured fieldwork, this is the type of fieldwork or field teaching or structured fieldwork. It's a type of fieldwork where the teacher himself directs what students should observe towards specific elements in the landscape or in the environment, that what they should observe or do in a place. So more or less like, so for example, if I want to teach you the concept of cave, and I take you to Commander Cave as a teacher, and as you observe and I teach, I tell you what it means, the processes and all those things on the field, where you also have opportunity to ask questions and those things. That is field teaching or structured field work, because it's the teacher who has taken you there and he is the one teaching you the concept of what cave. But if it happens that the students are given to work in groups and are given opportunity to identify the processes that led to the formation, mobilize data, and write a report and come and present in the classroom what the observation about the processes that led to the formation, without the teacher telling you all the processes and the teacher only providing you with the L structure, scaffolding, or the guidelines, that becomes unstructured what? Fieldwork. That means that the unstructured fieldwork, the learner is given the opportunity to take the center stage in doing all the field activity, unlike the field teaching or on the structured, where the teacher rather directs most of the activities and provide even some specific information or knowledge to the learners. Are you getting the difference? So in that of the
Doc,
structured,
please come again.
what I'm saying is that there are two approaches. A minute. So what I'm saying is that when we talk of structured field work or field teaching, the two approaches, we have structured field work and unstructured field work. And we are saying that with the structured or field teaching, here it is a teacher that directs all the student observation or the instructional activities on the field. And I gave an example, unlike the unstructured field work where learners themselves go to the field, though the teacher may be on the field as well. But here, learners in groups, they explore, gather their pieces of information, put them together, get their report, and present either in class or on the field as what they have been able to develop. Unlike the field teaching, where it's a teacher who directs, who provides certain information in terms of the knowledge gathering. So I gave an example that if I want to teach a course, a topic like cave, using field teaching or structured field work, I would take the student to the field, let's say Commander Cave, and I will teach you to observe and tell you how this cave came about, what led to these things on the field. And you even give you the opportunity to ask questions. That is field teaching or structured field work. But if I'm doing unstructured field work, instead of me telling you how the cave formed, what process led to the formation, and giving room for you to ask questions, I'd rather put you into groups, let you go and observe and figure out as a group what processes led to these things. Then you come and present in groups. Then your colleagues will also make their input. Then I would, the teacher, if I have any comment, I'll comment on it. So it's more or less that the structure is more teacher-centered, while the unstructured is learner-centered. Edisa, are you getting the difference?
Yes, doctor.
Okay. So in the field teaching, there are various parts of it. One is that the study of geographic topic or the theme in class. So this covers activities such as teacher talk, textbook study, and note taking. So at times, some of the topic to be treated are already discussed in class by the teacher, gives you information, knowledge before they even take you to the field to do that. Then we have observation, which is often teacher what directed. Then further interpretation and explanation in class. So when you go to the field, you observe, teacher direct you what to observe, and then when you come back, then you share your experiences when you went to the field, what you further saw or identified. So that's what basically happens when you are using field teaching or structure. So some people, to what they do is that they rather do the theoretical aspect of the course. So for example, there's someone can decide, okay, I'll teach the cave in the classroom. Then organize an excursion, take you to the commander cave for you to see commander cave of what he has taught you in class. It's also an example of field teaching. Are you getting it? Whether he takes you to the field and do the teaching there, or he did the teaching in the classroom and takes you to observe what he has taught you on the field, is also an example of field teaching. And the field research or the unstructured field, as he said, it adopts a problem-solving focus, utilizing techniques similar to those used by geographers or social sciences, which are involved in analysis. So here, researchers or learners are made to first identify a problem, and this problem can be identified through a personal observation, or it can be provided by the teacher as well. The teacher can present the scaffolding or the L structure problem for the student to investigate, or from the student's own observations, they can also take up, identify a problem. Then from there, you must also formulate a hypothesis, which is an educated guess. And these things are also influenced by your experiences, your reading, reflections, so far as that activity is concerned. Then we have field activities, where at a point you must go to the field, collect data, observe. At times you can also, apart from the field data, you can also get secondary data to augment your analysis. Then after you analyze your data, process it, analyze it, get your findings, then you are able to accept or reject your hypothesis as indicated. And we all know that hypothesis could be null or alternative. So when it is null, it means that you are saying that there is no statistical maybe difference. When it's alternative, there is. So depending on whichever study you are observing, the hypothesis you construct will influence whether you have to accept or reject the null hypothesis. Then from there, you can make your conclusions about, you draw your conclusions about what has happened so far as the research is concerned. So like I've already indicated, field work in these two approaches, one is more of teacher-centered, whilst one is more of learner-centered. One is also more of learner-oriented in terms of they are given opportunity, they are actively participation by the learner, whilst one is they participate all right, but the participation is very minimal or passive as compared to that of the other ones. Any question on that, on the approach before we look at some benefits of field work? Any question? Okay. So let's look at benefits of fieldwork. And the benefit has been classified into the various domains. So we have what we call the affective benefits of fieldwork, where we have the attitudinal or aesthetic objectives or benefits of fieldwork, which falls under the affective domain. And here we are saying that one of the benefits is that fieldwork arouses student curiosity. You see, when the students sit in the classroom for a long time, they become boredom. They don't see any interesting thing about the subject. But when you take them outside the classroom to observe the environment, at least it also arouses their curiosity. So please, our teachers, let's find time and take our students out so that they also have a better appreciation of the subject or the concept we are teaching them. It also develops favorable attitude towards learning. Yes, when they're exposed to the field and they come to terms of the things that are happening and what is contributing to those things, it also helps them to develop certain attitude towards the things that they are doing that is depleting the environment. And for that matter, how they need to turn a new leaf in that regard. It also provokes students to ask questions and identify problems. If you have taken your student to excursion before at a place they have never gone there, the way they will ask you questions, after even the tour guides and those people answering questions, some of them will still want to ask you the teacher questions. All because of the feel that they have been able to have when they were taken outside their classroom to a different age. So at least for the purpose of change of environment, let's try to at times take our students out for some time. Not necessarily traveling to a long distance or a long place. Or you can identify an area within your community and take your student there as well. It also sharpens student perception and appreciation of the changing geographical landscape. It also gives students the experience of pleasure of what discovery. Yes. And discovery learning, when they get to the first time, they may even end up find interesting things that you, the teacher, may not catch your attention. And at times they may even ask certain questions which will intrigue you to look at other areas as well. All these things are the benefits that is obtained when you use fieldwork. It also helps students to enjoy the study of geography and acquire a deeper interest in the subject. Yes. If every day is in the classroom, everything classroom, now baba DNA information is a time to get to a point that the whole concept will be boring for your learners. There's nothing new. At least that's why as a teacher, you must be very creative, you must be very innovative, and you must be very intentional to make your lesson more interesting, more enjoying for your students. Then the knowledge benefits or the knowledge objective or the benefits in terms of cognitive. We are saying that field work helps to develop better understanding of the nature of things discussed in the class or in the books. Yeah, so some of the things that are stated in the textbook that students read or teachers teach in the classroom, when it takes them to the field, it gives a better understanding of it. Come to think of it, that I treated the concept cave. Then after the teaching, I take my students to Commander Cave. And they see a Feligadochi as formation or example of a cave with their eyes. Don't you think that it will make them understand the concept better than the one I theoretically delivered in their classroom? Don't you think so? Or what is written in the books? Yeah, Edisa, your hand is up.
Yeah. So what you're saying is perfect. But when it comes to say SHS, the issue is finance. Let's say you've taught your students about cave, and you are around, say, northern part of Ghana. We don't have caves there. So how are you going to, I mean, bring down your students to the southern part to see caves? So the cost involved is what is preventing teachers to be innovative and creative.
Yeah, that's why we have what we call virtual reality or virtual field work. So virtual reality or virtual field work, you get a video of a field work from an area and rather play it in a classroom for them to watch. That's another thing without them going directly to the place. Are you getting it? That's a new concept that we also have, virtual field work. We call it virtual field work. We know that this is difficult getting permission or buses to send your people out for field work activity. So with this virtual field work, you are able to virtually do the same thing that you intended to take your student there. Just that with that one, you will just see a video of the image and how the process are going. I think that one too is better than if you cannot get opportunity to take them there physically. So the virtual field work also give you an alternative for them to also have an appreciation of what you are talking about. So that's something you can improvise. Okay. Then we're also saying that it also enables students to observe, think, and acquire what? Knowledge. Think and acquire knowledge. It also helps students understand the relationship between the physical features and human activities within their environment or their various places. In terms of that, it also helps them to associate different phenomena which together comprise the geography of the area. So when you take them to the field, that's why I'm saying that at times you don't even have to take them to far distance. Just look at your vicinity, your community, your environment. What are some of the features, geographical phenomena or features that are there? And at times you can even take them there to also have a feel of the makeup of their area and some of the geographical phenomena and features. I'm sure that it's not only Commander that we may have a Commander cave. We may have some in other areas, but like you are saying, up north, maybe I have to do my research to find out if there's any there or otherwise. Yes, you see. Yeah, you see, go ahead. Okay. Then it's also
So,
to develop. Yes, please.
like, I was not concerned with only the rocks or caves. Let's assume you are teaching vegetation, and the vegetation we have the coastal shrub and the grassland and those things, and
Yeah.
it can be it is only located at the coastal areas. So you need to bring them down. It will be cost involving. The only thing you can do is that's what you said, the visual display of these
Yeah.
vegetation.
We, we,
Uh-huh.
we call it we call it virtual field work. There's a term
Okay.
called virtual field work.
But yeah, that
Virtual field work. That's the where whatever you would have gone there physically to observe, you now watch it in a form of emotion or video, giving you the same perspective. Just that this one is in the form of videos, unlike the physical one that will be there. And that's one of the things that you can also consider to minimize the risk involved and also the financial difficulty that you are talking about. Okay. Okay. Then let's look at the psychomotor benefit of fieldwork. We are saying that fieldwork helps to develop an understanding of geographical modes of inquiry, where we know that the mode of inquiry, when we're doing nature of geography, remember we talked about methods of geographic inquiry, either the use of system approach, model approach, quantitative, scientific, qualitative, and all those approaches. And all of them expose learners to the field. They bring in their skill, their crafts in observational skills, description skills, explanation skills, analytical, and all those critical thinking skills to bear to address a geographic phenomenon. It also distinguishes between necessary and extraneous what information. Yeah, so that at the end of the day, based on the those description, you're able to decipher between what information are necessary and others that are not necessary. It also helps to orient a map in the field. Yes, you know, some of these things at times you get a map area, a map of the area, where some of them, even before they go, they study the map of an area, get a lot of information about the area. And whilst they also do that, they're able to try to learn the map reading skills and identification of areas and other things on the map. And it also relates real life features to map symbols. You know, on the map, there are certain images that you see which gives a pictorial view of the reality. But when you get to the field, it makes you to have a real feel of those images that of the area and how you can also map it if you want to map it on a sheet through a freehand sketch or any form of, or according to scale as well. It also develops skills in data collection, which I've already, so like observational, recording, analysis, and all forms of skills in data collection that learners acquire through fieldwork. And know that when it comes to motor field skills, psychomotor, we are talking about the skills that enable the learners to engage in crafts, those motor skills into physical tasks and all those kind of things. So these are the benefits when it comes to fieldwork and its use. So if you want your learners to develop all these, encourage them to go for a field work activity. Now let's look at a three-phase approach to integrate field and classroom, your field work activity or field work into your classroom activities. The first phase is the pre-field work activity. So if you're a teacher and you want to use field work in your classroom activity, these are things you have to do. The first one is that you must first make clear of why do you want to do the field work. What do you seek to achieve with the field work? What is the purpose of the field work? That's the first thing you must ascertain. Because you cannot say that you are doing field work for fun of it. You should have a purpose, a reason, a rationale for incorporating field work in the area of the subject in your classroom. Now, when you are clear with your purpose or objectives or the rationale for the fieldwork, then you need to undertake some lively research about the kind of fieldwork or the kind of activity you want to embark upon so that you'll be able to know, as part of the library research, the information you need to know to provide the needed guidelines and facilitation, or even if you are the one going to direct it on the field, you still need some information that will enable you to provide the necessary pre-fieldwork activity before they get to the field. Then you must also identify various search or non-search for background information through books, articles, maps, and photographs. So, for example, my brother who said about the coastal, coastal landforms, you mentioned of something. If you want to have students fieldwork activity, you have to do research about it. Look for areas where these things are located. The things that you need to know, even you can get photographs, maps of the areas, and do all these search to help you get a better appreciation and understanding of this concept, coastal landforms, and how you can expose the learner, where to take the learners to, and what. So all these search must be done as part of pre-work activity. Then you must formulate hypotheses or research questions to guide the field activity that they are going to do before you look at development of data collection technique. Whilst they are going to the field, when they go to the field, what are they going to do? How are they going to collect the data? Do they have to go with a questionnaire? Do they have to go with some instrument? Do they have to go with some GPS? Which they must know all the forms of data collection. They have to go with recorders. Do they have to go with cameras? Do they have to take pictures? Do they have to speak to people? Apart from their seeing, do they have to interview people? So that all these things must be made available way before you set out for the fieldwork. So these are things that you must pay attention to when you want to incorporate or integrate fieldwork into your classroom activity. Then the next one is the fieldwork, the phase 2, where you have to direct observation. So here you must identify, name, describe, order, construct, and measure when you are on the field. So this one, you have to ascertain that, okay, when we get to the field, what are some of the things that people must be doing? They must observe. And the observation, they must be able to identify. They must be able to name and describe and even categorize or classify or order the happenings into the various forms and be able to offer some measurement. There's also individual perception of the phenomenon, because we all attest to the fact that everybody has an individual way of perceiving things. So individuals may bring their perspectives of how they perceive what is happening. Then we have data collection, data recording, which all these things takes place on the field. Then data analysis and interpretation. Then we have specific field techniques like sketching, mapping, transit. All these things are things that you'll be doing on the field. So if you want to integrate field work, these are things that you must be guided, that you must plan all these things before you can decide that, okay, this week we are going for field work. Then the last phase 2, once you are planning or want to integrate, know that there will be evaluation of data that you have collected. You must evaluate it. And when you evaluate the data, the techniques that you also use, you must be tested. Once you test the hypothesis as well, and based on the hypothesis, you can decide to make a determination. Now, you can also make further research, library research about the things that you want to, the data you have gotten, the analysis you have done, and maybe some further research to back some of the findings, just like what we do in the research investigation, where in the literature review, we use the literature review to either confirm or disconfirm some of the findings that emerge in chapter 4, where we say that this finding is in line with the findings of so and so, which stipulated that. See, then we also summarize and present the findings and conclusions as well. So these are the indicators or areas or drivers when it comes to you incorporating or integrating fieldwork into your classroom activities. These are the things that you must bear in mind to guide your planning, your researching, and in order to use fieldwork properly in your classroom activity. Now, this is talking about now that you are using the fieldwork itself, conducting the fieldwork itself, what are some of the stages, things that you must do or follow when conducting fieldwork? So some of the points we have indicated may find an expression in this area. So this one is when you are doing the fieldwork itself. So we have what we call the pre-field work activities. So things you must do before we go to the field. So the first one is that before you the pre-field work activities, we are saying the teacher must establish clear and specific objectives for the field work. And the teacher must also view the trip as a means rather than an end to itself. So what we are trying to say is that the fieldwork activity that you are going for, it should be seen as a means for you helping the learners to appreciate the various concepts and activities that you are teaching them, rather than an end in itself. So, you see, whenever you are conducting an activity of this nature, there's a whole lot of things, responsibilities that must be done by the facilitator or the teacher. And some of these things can also be done together with the student. And this is when you want to do a good field work activity. Very, very important. The teacher must familiarize himself or herself with the major features of the visit. So, for example, you want to go to Mount Afajatu. You, the teacher, must be able to familiarize yourself with the place, know the conditions in the place, know the do's and don'ts of the place, so that if at the end of the day you are taking students there, you can take them, because there are certain times and seasons you cannot take students to certain places. Some of the tourist sites, there are times and seasons or certain occasions you cannot take people there. So you yourself taking the student there must first familiarize yourself with the place, the major features, the do's and don'ts, and other things that are in the area, which is critical to the successful organization of the fieldwork. Then you must also organize a lead lesson on the fieldwork with your students. They must know where they intend to go. What are they supposed to go when they are going? What are they supposed to do? What are they supposed to wear? Do they have to get some protective gear? What are they supposed? What their roles? So you must organize a lead lesson on the field work that they are going. so that everybody will be certain as to what they need to get, what they are going to do, even if they're going to work in groups, all the things must be done in the lead section. Then after the lead session, the teacher must organize a class discussion to throw more light on the types of tasks to be expected, especially when you, the teacher, are not going to direct the teaching, but students are going to be groups and work in groups. You must be able to let them have a further discussion about sorry. Me banner hard drink a crank and I said me didn't move. No, I'm a quarter the abana. Ultimate all disturbance. My money earpiece back. Comedian is a music of a sort. I bet now computer nature hard. Okay, so we are saying that after setting on the site to be visited, the teacher must design a topic web from the various aspects of the study discussed. So let me show you a typical example of a topic web. Yeah, so this is, for example, a topic web on a field trip to a manufacturing firm. So just to give you an idea of how a topic web can be designed. So when you look at the point that is talking about, so this is a topic web on a field trip to a manufacturing firm. So we have the manufacturing firm at the center. Then we know that we are looking at the goods, the manufacturing they produce, their plant, a plan of the factory, technical staff, the marketing outline of the factory, their administrative staff, the factory hands, the raw material they need, their equipment. So this is a typical example of a topic web that you must do to give you the various aspects of the area you are going and the things that they do, so that it will guide your students' discussion in that regard. Now, when you go a step further, you could see that there is, you see, the teacher then groups students according to the various aspects identified in the topic web. So you see that when you look at it, you have group 1, they will study the plant of the factory. Group 2 will study the factory equipment. Group 3 will study goods produced by the factories. Group 4 will study raw materials used for production. The group 5 will study types of factory labor use. Then the group 6 will study the technical staff. Group 7 will study the administrative staff. And group 8 will study the marketing outline of the firm. And group 9 will study the plan the plan of the firm. So do you see how the topic web helps you to be able to outline or divide works among the students? Please, are you following?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
So yeah, all these things are in the material. So yes, they are in the material. So don't worry, you have them.
Okay.
So at least it gives you, and so the topic web gives you an idea to be able to identify various angles or segments within the firm or the area you are going for the field work or the trip, so that you are able to. So that's why, as part of the class discussion, all these things are done. That's why you need to do a thorough search about the firm. Go to their website. You can go to the website and know all these things. You can also research more about it, and you can also pay visit to the place, get all this information in order to do a thorough work and put your student in a proper perspective. Okay. So we said the teacher then groups students according to the various aspects identified we have talked about. Each group should then assign tasks to each student in a group. And these assignments should be tabulated on a field work assignment card. So that means that each group, individuals within the group must also be tasked. Then after assigning each student a task, there is a discussion on what instruments, materials, equipment will be needed for undertaking this study. All these things are done before the field work activity. You must also develop a checklist of all the procedural administrative details that need to be arranged before you get to the site. At times, there are even places you must to get permission letters. You have to get consent from parents. You must also get permission from the place and the amount of payment. All these things we must follow all those procedures. So that's why I say that some of these administrative details and procedure, like confirmation of the visitation date, the bus plans, parental permission, provision of meals and snacks, restroom facilities, safety precautions where there is a need for them to have, then special student dress if they need to get some protective gear, and informed consent among others. These are very, very important, so that if there's anything happen, you will not be held accountable for not going through the due process. So it's very important that you adhere to all these things. You must also organize a simple file system for collecting all forms of funds required from students and parents. And so they won't have for the Christmas to use your own money. Some of these things are money intensive. So if parents are paying, there should be records. If people are sponsoring, there should be records. Very, very important. Then before students embark on the trip, a spot should be chosen in the school where the students should assemble. Very, very important. And that's one of the things I always encourage teachers to do. Please, as teacher, discourage a situation where you say that, oh, we'll be picking you at advantage point. So you stand here, we'll come and pick you, Charlie, if care is not taken, that picking alone will let you get to the place very late. Let everybody report at the school, the convergence point where they should assemble, whether far or near. So that at the end of the day, you pick them from there. Then when you are coming back, come and alight them there. Don't encourage a situation where a student will say that, oh, I want to alight here. I want to alight here. Please don't encourage those things. If you do that and there's any problem, you are going to be held accountable and not the student. So please, those of us who are fan of, oh, we'll pick you here, let's desist from those things. That's the point. Also, before students embark on the trip, a spot should be chosen in the school where the students should assemble. Very, very important. So that if their parents are bringing them, they will bring them to that spot and also take them from that place at the same time as well. Okay. Then we get to the actual field work stage. So this is where we have gotten to the field. The field work activity during the field work itself. So this is where we are going to the field. So as soon as the group arrives at the site, you must conduct another head count by the teacher before the student disembark to ensure that all the students are still on board. Now take note, in every fieldwork activity, there are 4 different head counts that must be conducted. I said there are how many head counts that must be conducted?
4, sir.
4. The first one is when they have assembled in the school before they set off, you must conduct a head count, the first head count, to know the number of students you are taking to the field from the school. So your first head count should be when they have assembled at the point that they are going to board the bus. So that when you know they are 30, then you know that you are going with 30. Now, I know that on the way, you may stop on the way for some to buy water, some to urinate, some to get something to eat and those things. The moment you get to the field where you are going, do another head count, which is the second head count, before they alight, they drop from the bus. Don't let them drop before you do the head count. Do it in the bus to make sure that when we stopped on the way that they bought some of these things, no one has sneaked out. Because the caliber of students we are having today, some of them may take advantage that, hey, you are going to Eastern region. That's where I come from. My grandmom is there. Okay, then I will take advantage. When they get to the plane, then they sneak out. Align with their friends that by the time the field will be over, then they join to go back. So we must conduct the second head count when they get to the field before they all disembark. After disembarking, all materials and equipment to be used in the fieldwork should be checked to see that they are intact and all the required equipment needed are available. Students should be in their proper working gear, clothing, where it is mandatory for them to do so, depending on the trip you are going. There are some manufacturing areas you have to put on protective gear, your reflectors, your helmet, your Wellington boots, and those things. There are areas too you may not need those things. So depending on where you are going and there are rules of the place, you must let your people comply. Duration of time within which to complete the fieldwork should be specified. Very, very important to the learners. If they are going to work in groups, they must be given time that they have to work in groups. Take pictures or slides or make video tape to use it in discussing important aspects of the fieldwork during the follow-up discussion. So you can allow students to take pictures, to take videos, so that when they go and they are doing follow-up discussions, try to put their thoughts and information together, they can use those videos as further information to help their follow-up discussions. So you see that conducting fieldwork is not a small thing. Also, make brief note on what seems to interest and bore students and on the more important questions that were asked during the fieldwork. As student work, the teacher should go around to counsel, help, offer suggestions, and generally will supervise. Don't stand there and be doing your own things. Some teachers will be standing and be manipulating their phone as if that they are not interested in what is happening. You must go around, check, monitor, support, guide, and ensure that the groups are doing the right thing. And before the groups leave the site for school, the teacher must again conduct the third head count. So when we are done with the fieldwork activity and we are about to set off, please conduct the third head count. To know that we came with 30, we did the field activity, and we are leaving the field with the same 30. So that if someone has sneaked out to his boyfriend or to his aunties or whatever place, you can know that your number is short of that. So that is the third head count you must conduct it. Then the next one is the post-field work activities. That's after the field work. Then what you have to do is that the moment the groups arrive back to school, the teacher should organize the last head count, which is the fourth one, to ensure that all the students who undertook the field trip are back to school, are back. That's why I'm saying that don't encourage a situation where someone will say, oh, I will drop here, I will drop here, I will drop here. If you do that, some will drop there and they will not get home. Some will drop there and sneak into their boyfriends and their girlfriends' home. And some parents will take you on. That's why you must be careful with some of these students we are having. Even the university students, when they gave the Xmas break, some will say, oh, it's not far. They're going to his granny, call the mother, going to somewhere, and they were in their boyfriend's house. They didn't go until something happened. Then you will see where the power lies. So after the return trip to school, the teacher must give the students some few days to organize their thoughts before calling for a discussion on the field trip. So give them some days to relax, organize their thoughts, their information before you call them for a trip discussion. Now, during the debriefing session, the teacher must also ask students to offer open-ended impression of what they learned from their field trip and what they enjoyed most from it and why, so that you will know whether the students really were happy or enjoyed the field trip. You need to interrogate these areas. The teacher must also review his or her notes from the field trip and discuss important points referring to the data students collected, so that you can help shape their information and also add. Engage students in additional related follow-ups activities where necessary. And these are very, very important things in fieldwork activity. Whilst the procedural and substantive features of the trip are still fresh in the teacher's mind, he or she must construct a file cut of notes. And a file cut of notes are things that you pin down or you pin down of the experiences and the things that happened on the field work, and going for what are some of the things that you think that made it successful. In the presentation of report by various groups of students, if it happens that the criticisms against a group work is overwhelming, the group should be given opportunity to rewrite the report and present it again in another section of discussion. But where the critiques are not overwhelming, they are light or very less, they can do the necessary modification and submit their report without them coming to present again. Then after the report presentation session, the groups must be given some time within which they must put their final touches together and present their technical reports from the field. So these are all some of the activities that we do during the fieldwork activity. Now, what are the benefits of fieldwork method in general? The ones we looked at first was specific areas, but in general, you can blend all these two areas. We are saying that fieldwork enhances cooperative and collaborative learning because they work in groups. They are leadership. So it even nurtures student leadership skills, where we have the leader and the rest become followers. They are that spirit of tolerance. So that collaborative and cooperative learning spirit is there. The group work promotes tolerance in students, yes, because the group leader will ensure that everyone's contribution must be respected. You can't say that yours is bad and those. So that spirit of tolerance is nurtured in group work. Students learn to work on their own as they are given individual assignments to carry out that independent work, which is very important. It also exposes students to real world situations which are unmatched to their classroom teaching learning situations. The students learn to become good leaders and followers in respect to what group works, which I've mentioned. Because within the groups, a student will be a leader and the rest will be followers. Now, through observation, the student discover new ideas. And it also eliminates abstract thinking and encourages practical activity. So these are some of the benefits of fieldwork activity. Now, through the fieldwork, students are able to think critically. So it nurtures critical thinking and analytical thinking skills among students. And also, fieldwork method can help to develop the skills of translating scenes into prose, graphics, or any form to demonstrate their understanding. Yeah, so you go to the field, you observe the scenes, and you're able to narrate. You're able to present it in a graphical or in any form that will make a meaningful sense in communication. Then the student, through this method, learn to acquire the skills of locating places, gathering information through interviews, surveys, and observation. And these are all critical data collection skills learners are able to learn through fieldwork. Now let's look at some demerits of fieldwork activity as well. We are saying that many teachers lack the skills to organize fieldwork, and so most of them wouldn't even want to try. And those who want to try to, they will do it haphazardly. And in fact, fieldwork is a very time-consuming activity. If you don't have time, you can't do it. It's very stressful, and it can be really disturbing and frustrating. It is usually costly to be undertaken, more especially when the phenomenon for the state is far away from your school. And the method can sometimes throw the program of the school out of gear. Yes, because you yourself, you have 2 hours for your lesson. And fieldwork can take a whole day. And whose teacher's period are you going to use for your fieldwork? So at times it can destroy the whole program of the school for the day. And many people, especially parents, think it exposes students to many hazards. So some parents fear to let their children travel far for excursion. You remember what happened at the Kintampo? Is it Kintampo? Yes. Or the Wenchi? Yes, the Wenchi waterfalls. You remember there was a waterfalls in Wenchi where some students went there and there was some accident. Do you remember?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
So because of this risk in traveling and some of these hazards, some parents feels like Charlie, at Tenefia, Bibi alone too. To the Tenefia, Bankaho, a quando crown the car, the accident. Like this school bus, is it last year or last 2 years, where 15 students got crashed in road accident. Student 15. All these things deter parents for making their children travel to a distance. Also, the nature of fieldwork assessment does not sync with the system of examination in our schools. Yes. You see, when you are using fieldwork, you don't assess fieldwork with paper and pencil exams. It is a technical report they produce that you assess. It is a presentation that they do that we assess. So we assess their presentation skills, their oratory skills, their writing skills, their ability to answer questions, the quality of their slides, and how they're able to present their appearance. These are things that we assess for fieldwork and the technical report they produce. So, and in the system of examination that we are so much interested in, exams, it may not sync well with fieldwork. So these are some of the demerits so far as fieldwork is concerned. I think at this point, I'll pause here, and if you have any questions, you can bring it out. If not, I think we can call it for a meeting or a day, because we have exhausted 2 units. But when you get the material, see, we have a detail, some of them we have detailed explanation to some of these things in the material. Like I showed a topic map and some of the things to you as well. Any contributions or any question?
Doc.
Yes, Mr. Duse. I said, and then they are the send them no one you. And I'm happy. I'm happy the way you are contributing and asking questions, Mr. Duse. So go ahead.
Doc, mine is you've done well. You've done well in going through all these things with us. We appreciate it a lot. Thank you.
Okay. Oseko for Crispin.
Yes, Doc. Wait, I wanted to say the point that you said it GS the program of the school. I wanted to find out if you can say, like, put it in a different way, like saying it distracts the instructional hours. I don't know if that point or fits that one.
It's the same thing. Yes, it's the same thing. It's a matter of more or less like we are saying it distracts or it disturbs the program of the school for that day.
Oh, okay.
Also, anytime you are talking about field work and activity, now I said those field technology terms in the percent out of gear or out of balance. So thank you for bringing alternatives to it as well. Mr. Osman. Ibrahim Osman.
Yes, sir. Doc.
Yes, please.
This is not a question. I wanted to thank you for the lesson.
Oh, okay.
Thank you very much.
So tomorrow we'll look at teacher planning and learner planner. We'll be looking at the learner planner for the new standard base. Then we'll also look at scheme of learning. So I'm sure you have already gone through the slides. So it's a matter of discussion that we'll do, God willing, tomorrow. Like I said, tomorrow I have a preaching appointment at 9 at a community which is quite far. But if it gets to 10 o'clock or 11 o'clock and I have no clues, I'll quickly get in touch with Stephen, so that maybe we shift it to 12. So okay. Mr. Dusa, your hand is up again.
Yeah, Doc. Um, those of us who are having political science as minor and geography as major are having issues with code, which I want you to help us to address that issue.
What is the issue?
The issue is one of the geography courses, that's the major, as map
Yes.
reading, clashes with the minor course, which is a political science course, organs of government. And
Okay.
since we started this blog, we've not had any lectures on that course,
Which course?
which is very organs of government.
Now,
There's a
have you reported it to the coordinator or the center? Stephen, let me hear you. I think Stephen, your hand is up.
Doc,
Aha.
Doc,
Yes, please.
yeah, I've called the program monitor for social science. Um, he told me to discuss the time with the lecturer, that's Dr. Kufuor. I've called him countless. I scheduled a time with him. That was last 3 days. He couldn't make it. So I had a WhatsApp chat with him, and I wanted him to give me a time that would suit him, but then he hasn't given me any time. So Code said we should make the internal arrangement with the lecturer and report to him. That's what the program monitor told me. So I'm trying to get him on board. So that's the issue, please.
Oh, okay. Yeah, because with this is the so when you call the lecturer, that is it that he doesn't pick or what?
So when I called him, he spoke with me for about 3 consecutive times. But then afterwards, I called and he doesn't pick my call. So I
And when
realized
he
he was
spoke,
busy.
when he spoke to you, what did he say?
He scheduled a time for Thursday, and
Okay.
the Thursday he was having a class. So when I called, he was even teaching.
Okay.
So I discussed Friday with him, and Friday he didn't say anything. So I'll call him God willing tomorrow, so that or today. Then as if perhaps he will get a day for us. Because code said the moment they change that particular time, it will affect other courses. That's what I was told. They said the moment they change it, it will affect other areas. That is why it has remained like that. So the lecturer should rather give us a time that will fit him for them to have a class.
Okay. Okay. So you do the follow up, then let's see what will happen. Why?
Okay. Okay, doc.
So Sammy, it shall be well. Let's get to when the course rep exhausts then we can also step in. But some of these
Okay,
things,
thank you.
why? Okay.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you very much. Okay. So on that note, have a good morning and
Please, the
we'll,
books we still have 10 copies left. So those who are yet to buy should send their money so that we start distribution early, please. Thank you.
okay. So we'll meet God willing tomorrow for method of teaching. Bye for now.
Bye. Please, the one who asked the question, the person still is somebody. Hello.